Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is a video explaining what we're doing the rest of the week, May 3rd, specifically around the schedule and timing of the Crater Lab HERE report. If you go to my Schoology page under Space Science, you will see that everything is down here at the bottom. This is everything that we're going to be working on for the next couple of days. We've got the R-squared example data. In case you didn't have that, you can use this data to work on. This also explains the extra credit at the bottom. You've got the PowerPoint that we went over. We didn't take notes on it, but we went over this, all right? And this is something that we just briefly talked about on the format of writing an HEAR report. We talked about the rubric, which is also on Schoology, and how this rubric is, I think, pretty straightforward, but what you have to do to get a perfect score on the hypothesis, what you have to do to get a perfect score on the evidence, on the answer, and on the reasoning. To go into a little bit more detail on these, your hypothesis, we already worked on it. It should be on page 1 of your lab, and you might need to make some modifications to include all these variables, but that should be pretty good. Going a little deeper, your evidence, we've actually got 4 types of evidence. We've got depth and diameter evidence, we've got velocity evidence, we've got our R-squared value evidence, and we also have the kinetic energy if you decide to do that. Now that is extra credit. And the way that you're going to turn in that extra credit is you are going to incorporate it into your HEAR report. So that extra credit will be embedded into your report on Friday. Remember, you need to have not only written form data, but also experimental data tables and or graphs. You've got the answer, which is kind of like a claim. All the answer does is, as we saw in the PowerPoint, answer the question that we were asked, in this case, which makes a bigger impact, size or speed of a meteorite. And then last but not least is going to be the reasoning. This reasoning is going to be 2 paragraphs. Now, let me show you an example of this stuff. This is an example from one of my juniors. His name is Mike, and he did a great job on his lab report. This is available for you as well. This is on my Schoology page. He has the question that was given to him, starting it off almost as a title, and then he has his hypothesis. He then follows it up with his evidence. He decided to show all of his evidence, which was a good idea, as well as explain the evidence in written form. After that, he has his answer, which is simply which one affected the speed the most. In this experiment, it was the angle of the ramp. And then he has a 2-paragraph reasoning section. The first paragraph, and listen carefully, the first paragraph explains why the data supports your hypothesis or why the data refutes your hypothesis. And this is where you're going to use the word because, right there, yeah. And then the second paragraph of your reasoning talks about what scientific principles, for example, gravity in this experiment, are running this experiment. And then, and again, the other thing is, how is this useful in the real world? So this is all detailed very closely here in this PowerPoint. You don't have to write anything down because you're always going to have evidence. I'm sorry. You're always going to have access. Stumble over your words, Sapala. You're always going to have access to this stuff. Where are you going to submit it? You're going to go here, pardon the pun, Crater Lab HERE report. And this is where you're going to submit this electronically, listen carefully, by Friday morning at 7:30 a.m. Today, I just gave you the short version of what we did today. The students got about 20 minutes of time to kind of plan out their labs. Tomorrow is a work day. Thursday is a work day. This is due first thing Friday morning. So this, again, we've done this many times, where you submit your document via Google. So again, here's some class data if you need that. Here's the PowerPoint that we reviewed if you need that. Here's the rubric that you really, really should look at, because this is how I'm going to grade it. And here is the example, which is also on my Schoology page. All of this stuff is present and accounted for. If you have any questions or anything like that, please shoot me an email. I will try and get back to you as soon as I can. But if you're not here for the next couple of days, that's okay. They're just work days. You can work on this at home just as easily. Have a great day.